Hey everyone, I have a very exciting show for you today. I have a special guest, someone who has been on the channel in the past, but I invited him back because, he and I invested through the '08 crash. And, that was an emotional journey. It was interesting. And I think our stories about '08 could help you in 2020 because something you may not realize today is your emotions will be a big part of it. How you handle your emotions, how you recognize your emotions. Do your emotions allow you to make logical or non-logical decisions? All of these things. So let's welcome Al Williamson to the show. How you doing, Al?
Good. Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure to be here. You treat your guests so well. The fruit basket, thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. I'll send that out as soon as I'm not on quarantine.
I
Oh,
like the green room. The
there
green
you,
room was great.
there you go. That's right. So Al, do us a favor. Just remind people real quick where you invest at, and kind of tell us what you were doing in like 2006 or seven. So before the crash, and then we'll get into it and we'll relate it to 2020. But what was Al like? Where's Al at in like 2006?
Yeah, 2006, I was working full time as a civil engineer. I was overseeing bridge construction somewhere. I was working, at that time, I was working for, for Caltrans. Um, yeah, 2005. And then it was real estate was going so well that decided to do some nonprofit work. So I was doing some nonprofit work in 2006, seven. So I was financially stable.
Right.
I had done well, and I was giving back to the community. And then 2008 came,
Well, let's set
and
this
then
up.
I'm in Sacramento, California. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's set this up because again, a lot of people, lots, like thousands of people, were you in 2019, right? The end of 19, the beginning of 20, right? They're starting to see the fruits of their labor. They've done 10 or 15 deals. They've got Airbnbs. They're doing house hacks. Whatever they're doing, it is freaking
Hmm.
working, right?
Hmm.
And their confidence is building. And then they're doing little extras. You were giving away to nonprofits, right? They were doing little extras. Maybe they bought another car or whatever, but it was working, and you saw no end in sight. It was like, oh, okay,
Right.
well, I just keep on going.
Right.
And then 2008 smacks you.
Smacks you.
2020 is smacking a lot of people, but let's talk about 2008.
Yeah.
And what was that kind of first smack? Do you remember the first one, or what was the first wake up call?
The wake-up call was when my teams were underemployed and just didn't have work to go to.
Yeah.
So I was so interconnected to my income, my passive income
Hmm.
was very interconnected to their employment status, and they simply were, 5/8 employed, halfway employed,
Hmm.
and the economy in Sacramento, California, just wasn't moving. So there was just no way. There was no way around it. It's not like I could evict them and go find better tenants.
Yeah.
It's like everyone was hurt.
Yeah. And for those who don't remember, 2008, California, Sacramento, like Fresno, was booming, right? Housing was going up everywhere. Everybody was feeling good. Loans were easy to get. And then it stopped, right? I think it really stopped when Countrywide went out and people realized that the good times were over. And then it
Yeah.
it was what happened in Sacramento, or at least what happened in Fresno. You can tell me if it happened in Sacramento. Is the negative feedback loop lasted a long time, right? Houses went out, lowered prices, more stuff went out. People
Yeah.
got it just seemed like it was a never-ending game of Pac-Man where it was just continually getting worse. Was that similar in Sacramento?
It was, and there was like no end in sight. It's just like I don't know how. Like I was using my savings to make up the compensate,
Hmm.
and then I was like, well, how long this? When is there going to be some good news? And hey,
Yeah.
did you freeze up?
No, you're still
It
going.
looked like you froze.
Yeah, we
Let
can
me
hear it.
move closer.
Okay.
Okay, it looked like you froze.
Yep. Nope. I could still hear you, so you're doing good.
Okay, so like I said, there's no end in sight. I was going through my burn rate,
Yeah.
And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to, I didn't have enough money to make it through a turnaround because it seemed like the turnaround wasn't coming.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, hey, I need to go for a restructuring my mortgage or something.
Yeah.
But as you know, the mortgage companies were buying back their stocks and not having these really crazy underwriting
Yeah.
requirements that you had to miss 12 payments or something like that. And
Yeah. It was
completely
crazy.
put yourself in, yeah, they want you to be in complete mercy position before they even talk to you.
Yeah.
And that's not good at all.
Yeah. So what I want people to hear from this is a couple of things. First off, as Al is going through this, you already seen him be emotional, right? Because we both can go back to that time and remember how tough it was for folks and for Al specifically. But realize also there are some differences that hopefully you're already picking up. First and foremost, as we both highlighted in Sacramento and Fresno, and like most of the country, but those are the two markets we talk about. It was a never-ending cycle, right? It was continually slowing down. So it was really that no end in sight was so true. That's different than today. This was sudden, drastic, and at least most people can go, okay, I can see when this stops. Right now, some of that's a best guess, but at least most people can say, hey, it will end and it will be because this or that happens. The other thing is vitally important is banks are behaving differently today. 2008, they wouldn't even talk to you until you were 3 months behind, right?
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't even talk. And in 2008, because all these freaking loans were sliced up and sent to 15 other people and nobody owned them, right? No one person. There were really two options. It was foreclosure or short sale. I didn't hear a lot of people successfully restructure debt. Maybe it happened and I just didn't hear about it, but certainly not a lot. Today, forbearance is like a new word in our lexicon. The $2.2 trillion stimulus should include language. Banks of all sizes are talking about 90 days being easy, 6 months being easy, talk of 12 months. Now, you do have to piece this together because a lot of that talk is owner occupant talk, but they are
Yeah,
also now highlighting investors. So, very different today, right? We haven't even had a mortgage payment due yet, and they're already
right,
talking about call us if you're in trouble. Very
right,
different, wouldn't you say?
right. When the head secretary led it by saying, "Hey, contact your mortgage company."
Mm-hmm.
He was encouraging right off the bat, and
Yeah.
I started encouraging people too, and wrote a letter myself. And as I was writing the letter, I was like, "Well, forbearance is supposed to be for when there's a dramatic hardship."
Mm-hmm.
I went, well, the president called a national emergency. That
Yeah.
the governor called a national statewide emergency.
Yeah.
Sacramento mayor called a citywide shutdown,
Yeah.
and then they put a moratorium citywide on evictions
Yeah.
and countywide. So that qualifies. I mean, if that doesn't qualify,
Oh, no, no question.
there's
This,
no question.
no,
There's no question. It's not your fault.
mm-mm.
And all these national emergencies are calls to give you cover
Yeah.
so that people loosen up their regulations. That's the
Yeah,
whole point of calling a national emergency.
absolutely. And by calling it a national emergency, it kind of kicks in these extra things that allows for forbearance to be a discussion, right?
Right.
Same thing would happen, God forbid we had a horrible earthquake, right? I lived through the 89 earthquake in the Bay Area that took down freeways and all of that. The same thing was shared, right? But it was very kind of NorCal centric, but it
Right.
happened, right? Because it was declared an emergency and FEMA and all these other things came through. It's just this one's national. It's the first one of my lifetime, hopefully ever, right?
Right.
I hope it never happens again. But yeah, this is a time that banks will talk to you. And again, I want you to hear both of us. This is very, very different than '08. It actually means we will get out of this faster. '08 was so bad because they acted dumb, right? I don't want to talk to you till you're 90 days behind. Well, okay, guess what? I'm not going
Right.
to pay for 90 days. Great. Now what? Right? Now they're like, nope, call us now. Let's document a few things. Here you go. Right?
Right.
It shouldn't
right.
be a stressful process. They want you to do it because they don't trust me. After '08, banks do not want your property. That much I can say with utter certainty. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wrote my letter on Monday
Yeah.
and I got my answer last night on Wednesday.
So let's walk it through. So you have a property. This is just it's a house or what is
It-
it?
It's an 8-unit apartment building,
Okay, so it's an eight. So it's commercial financing
commercial financing,
uh,
right? And
with a
owned
local
by
bank or
it's owned by East West Bank, which is
okay.
Chinese bank.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So
So,
you find your phone
but
number
the
or you find the address
yep,
or something, right? Go to the mortgage
fi-
statement.
right, right.
Okay.
Find that, and I knew who my on my mortgage statement talked about who my representative was for
Oh,
my
good.
loan representative.
Okay.
So I sent them an email
Hmm.
and just kind of what I said, hey, I would like forbearance for these reasons
Hmm.
that I can't. It's a national emergency and I can't evict people,
Right.
and they're told to stay home. They're told not to go to work.
Right.
So and so then so I sent that letter and I followed up with them on Tuesday and they respond on Wednesday with yeah, we're going to allow you. So my April payment's coming up. This is
Yeah.
still the end of March, and they told me not to worry about April.
Mm,
I had that, let's waive it for 6 months, and it gives us time to talk.
okay.
That's what they said.
All right.
So I haven't even had the issue of a tenant. I have reached out to my tenants.
Yeah.
That's something I want to encourage everyone to do.
Oh, for sure.
Instead of not talking and hunkering down and saying, "Well, let's see what happens." Don't take that approach at all. This takes a lot of hand holding and a lot of interdependence right now. Recognizing that we're interdependent
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think is important.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I was featured in an article that just got published today by the Business Journal where we talked about that. Communication is vital, right? That the relationship between landlord and tenant can be stressed if you don't communicate, and it ends badly for both parties. So
Right,
over communicate, work it out, be run a good business, be a good person, and we're going to get through this to the other side. So,
right.
um,
I
so
started my conversation with, "How are you doing?"
yeah,
Just expressing concern about their health.
awesome.
What has changed. That's just the decent human thing to do, right?
Yeah,
And once you do that, then they'll tell you what's going on, and you can start making some projections about how to plan for the effect or whatever's coming at you
yeah.
earlier on.
That's very cool. So let's talk about this because again, they've granted you 6 months, it sounds like, and they're going to quote unquote talk to you some more. Obviously, they have lots of these requests. It's you're not the only one, right? So
Right,
lots of people are doing it and probably should be doing it. Um, so really, this goes a couple of different ways. So first and foremost, I want people to hear this is not mortgage for forgiveness, right? They're not
right,
waiving this. They're not going to just waive the payment away. They're going to
right,
stick it somewhere, right? And that's probably what
right,
they're going to talk to you about is, okay, do we stick it on the end and just extend? Do we add it, 1/12 of it over the 12 months after? I mean, there's so many options that will be discussed. Um, is that fair? Is that kind of what you're thinking the options might be?
absolutely. And also, this is not default either.
No, of course. No, yeah, no,
It-
yeah.
so
No,
so I just want to point out it's not forgiveness, not default. It's just where do we place this payment?
mhm.
And so my first point of negotiation is going to be um, having to place it without any interest penalty.
Sure, for sure. Yes.
So that'll be the point of interest I'll be looking at. Whatever money I collect, I plan on putting it aside.
Yep.
So whenever it's due, I'll be able to um, pay it back. But the thing that I'll have, the benefit of that is if my tenants have problems, and right now we expect this thing to get worse in April.
Yeah, for sure.
So if my tenants have problems, then I have some ability to help them. I can give them what's been given me.
Yep. Exactly right.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's
No,
how it is. Otherwise, you would not be able to do that.
no, for sure. And let's not forget, a landlord of an 8-unit building, you still have other expenses that don't go away. You still have
Right.
insurance, and property taxes is due in what, 10 days or something. Have you heard about that being delayed? April 10th check?
No, it's not. I haven't heard it being delayed yet.
Yeah. So that's going to be,
No,
that's,
it's business as usual.
yeah, me too. I'm looking for that though, but I have a funny feeling that's not going to be delayed because that's a big chunk for us. So we still have other, and excuse me. Oh, I'm supposed to I'm supposed to sneeze into my shirt. Anyways. Oh well, shame on me. I got to go wash my hands now. Funny. Where was I going? Oh, if stuff breaks, we still have to fix it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, bless you.
Thank you. I think my wife put a plant in this room and it's making me sneeze.
I hope so.
Yeah. So yeah. So there's still stuff we have to take care of, right? Just because the mortgage payment had some forbearance on it, we still need to have some reserves because, when I look at my books, even if I take out mortgage payments, I still spend roughly 30% of income, which I don't have confidence coming in, just to keep the building going. I'm not going to stop
Hmm.
that. So
Hmm.
yeah,
They have to keep going.
yeah. So having those reserves and the ability to do the right things going forward is very smart. So you want to talk about the ego, because asking for help sometimes is not the easiest thing to do, especially, again, think about this, right? You were coming out of 19, feeling good, feeling pumped. I'm talking about the new investors, all
Hmm.
excited, ready for big ass goals in 2020. This is the decade. And then bam, smack you in the face. And now you're
Yeah,
like deflated. I just want to tell people that asking for help it's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of failure. It's a sign of this is a national emergency and it's okay. Is that fair?
that's absolutely. That's the joke about the helicopter coming and the person waiting for God to save them.
Yeah.
This is this is a way of you got to grab onto the rope,
Mhm.
and there's no shame in grabbing onto the rope.
No, you want to keep this building long term. You had plans for it long term.
Hmm.
Don't let some little thing that we can't see that's highly contagious blow up your business. Ask for help. Don't be a hero. Don't hide. Over communicate,
Yeah,
and we'll get through this. I can't see this going on past the summer. Right now, the question is that June or August, and who knows. But I think the whole importance of this, everybody should be adopting this mindset. Let's survive to the summer so we can thrive afterwards. That's kind of the mindset I want people to have. Would you agree with that one?
I agree. I agree. It's going to be a very big rebound, especially travel wise, because
Yes.
people are cooped up. There's going to be a huge rebound, and those who have that mindset of, hey, let me get through this, let me not make a bunch of decisions out of fear,
Yeah.
are going to be in position so that they can catch that thrive part.
Yeah. And then, the other thing I want to talk about, and I'm sorry I didn't prep you on this, but I'm sure it'll be a fun conversation, is let's talk about what you were not able to do in 2010, right? Because you limped through, you burned your capital, you tried to struggle through, but ultimately we got to 2010 that proved to be the bottom, at least in most markets.
Right.
And because you didn't have it, you couldn't take advantage of land value based deals. Is that a fair assumption?
Oh yeah, I was tapped out, and
Yeah,
my credit was shot as well
right.
because I didn't ask for help. And
Yeah.
so it was a lot of I didn't ask for help soon enough because there was a lot of pride involved to get through that. And also, I didn't understand at that point how to work with people's self-directed IRAs, how to
Right.
work with private money.
Yeah.
So I'm in a different position now. That's one thing I realize is when times like this, banks stop lending.
Yes. That caught so many people a week ago. And I'm like, I told you, I told you, I told you that could happen. You pay attention.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah. And the reason I bring this up is, again, you need to survive now so you can thrive later. If you try to be a hero, and let's just say you make it, let's just say you never miss a payment, you limp through, you're going to burn reserves. You're going to be stressed out. And when the market turns or there are deals around, the last thing you're going to be ready to do is go, God, I want to do that again. I want to sign up for that project. But if you ask for help, you
right,
build reserves, you're ready for it. You can probably take advantage, because I think thrive. I mean that in the second half is going to be, there will be opportunities. There will be there'll be less wholesalers. I think half the wholesalers to 75% are gone in the next 90 days. I think flippers will be down in 50%. And again, I say this from experience. I saw it happen before. And then all the buy and hold investors, many of them are going to be frustrated landlords, and I'll be picking up their stuff too. So, isn't that what you saw in 2010? And could you see that
Oh
playing
yeah.
out? And again, you have less competition.
Oh, you have less competition. And what also I want to add to what you said is I was like, well, let me just go find a business line of credit. Let me
Mm.
just find a HELOC or something like that. And I never saw them dry up or take money back,
Yeah,
you know?
just
So it really was, hey, I need the private money
yeah,
so that I need to have that skill set. So this time around, I was, hey, even if I don't need whatever, $1,000, let me go borrow it learn how to borrow it from someone's self-directed IRA,
yeah,
so that when the party's over,
yeah,
uh, I know how to, and also have a reputation,
yep.
so that I can make it in times like this.
Yeah, it's funny. I put out a video, I think it was Monday, talking about how I'm super excited. And it was really that point right there, right? I borrowed private money and have a great reputation two different times in my career. Once was in 2010 when banks turned off. We actually gave 10% on everything. And now, the last couple of years, I started doing what's called the 6 and 20 program, right? Little interest every month. So you're interested, but then I give you 20% of the profit. And I actually didn't do a lot of them the last half of the year because I had my own capital. But I expect to be very active this year, probably starting in June or July, when all the motivated sellers are waving their hands, buy me, buy me, buy me. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a lot
yeah,
of private money, and I'm glad to have invested in my network, have repeat buyers or lenders, and I'm communicating. You got to communicate. You got to tell them what you're thinking, tell them what's coming. I have 3 private money loans going on right now on assets that I own free and clear, because I'm getting ready, and I expect to be. I will do more business from July to December than I did the last 18 months. I'm convinced, and it's all because of private money.
yep. I think so too. They're looking for certainty,
Yeah,
and if you can provide certainty, then that's where the money's going to come towards you.
yeah.
So
Well,
so absolutely, learning that skill is really really important, and it's not that difficult.
no, it's not that difficult. But
It
yeah,
just takes courage.
yep, you got to take courage. You got to document. They got to feel confident in you.
Mhm.
All those things. What other lessons learned can, two old guys like us who survived 2008 tell a new, because I really feel bad for anybody that's got 5 years or less. I feel terrible for them. All they've known is the best of times. Lending was everywhere. Values were up. If projects ran long, they were rewarded. Burr was a thing
Yeah,
that people thought was easy. I mean, it's been too easy. But if you've only known the last 5 years, again, that's not your fault. You're probably in a bad spot because you probably have expensive debt. You're probably highly leveraged. You probably are cocky. What kind of advice should we give those folks, based on our experience in '08?
wow. So I would say I always I fall back onto like several principles that I kind of picked up,
Okay.
and one of them is you're trying to create value. You're trying to figure out what what your clients need.
Hmm.
How do you help someone else? That always helps you stay afloat.
Yeah.
You at this time, you definitely want to do what we're doing now. You want to publish and get lessons out and be seen. You don't
Hmm.
want to hide,
Hmm.
and you want to network your butt off too,
Yep.
because someone may have exactly what you need, but you need to be out there. You can't hunker down and be, you know, there's a bad spiral when you hunker down.
Right.
You go to depression and shame and all those things.
Hmm.
You pick up shame for a national health emergency.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolutely can, because this national health emergency is affecting your finances,
For sure.
and you can bear the shame of that, and that would be the wrong way to connect the dots.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah, the thing for me is ask for help early. I would tell somebody, if you only have 5 years on you or less, this is what I would tell you. First one, Al and I've already talked about. Ask for help early. There is no shame. Um, it is out there. Second, realize that you're one person. If you can help someone else, do it. Um, you'll just feel better. Second is people got to stop calling this 2008. It will not be 2008. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me going, I can't wait to buy real estate at 50% off. I'm like, what are you thinking? That is not going to happen. We are not in the same cycle. The negative feedback loop is not there. This is Wild Coyote falling off a cliff. He's going to go straight down. And then at some point, he will hit the bottom and spring back up. Now, will it come back to the same peak? Probably not, but it will bounce, right? It will go up 80%, 85, 90%. So to think that the single family market is going to be 50% off like it was in Sacramento and Fresno is idiotic. You do not know your facts. It is not going to happen. And if it did happen, it wouldn't happen until 2022 because every homeowner can ask for a year of forbearance. So there is nobody going to foreclose on a house in 2020. I mean, seriously, it's not going to happen. So
it's not going to happen.
It's just stop being stupid. It's not going to happen. There's no 50% off sale in 2020. It's different. That's the other thing I would tell you. So I think it survived the first half and thrive in the second half. Any closing comments, Al? I think.
Yeah, the circles, like the mastermind groups where I run in, we're all talking about, 20% of the things that we hear are probably over optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
And 20% of the things that we hear are overly pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
So our job is to make sure we're in the center. Stay centered.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right. What else are they telling you? All these smart people.
they're telling me that it's time to lean into your community.
Yeah.
Kind of what we already touched about, because what you need is is already your community has it.
Yeah.
And they'll take care of you, but you can't withdraw.
Yeah, totally.
Can't withdraw. Right now, I mean, everyone just doing Zoom meetings with keeping your church groups together, keeping your friends together. Just doing that is a big service to people because you want to. I guess we want to physically distance ourselves, but we don't want to socially distance ourselves. It's time to whatever you can to bring people together. That's what you want to do.
That's very cool. Well, Al, I thank you for jumping on this real quick. We got to get the message out that yes, you can survive an event like this. Frankly, if you could survive 08 like we did, this is going to be a cakewalk because it's going to be short and brief. And yeah, there will be plenty of opportunities on the other side. Survive the first half, thrive the second half. Al, thank you very much, buddy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yep.